Julius Caesar. The name echoes through history. He is a legend. Caesar was a general, a politician, a writer, and ultimately a dictator. This essay explores the final years of Caesar's tumultuous life. Finally, we will recount his dramatic assassination and its profound impact on Rome. It is a story about power, ambition, and the fate of nations. His life and death had a profound impact on the course of Western civilization. After years of civil war, Caesar emerged victorious. He returned to Rome in 45 BC as the undisputed master of the Roman world. The Senate granted him the title of Dictator, Perpetuo Dictator for life. It effectively made Caesar the sole ruler of Rome. As dictator, Caesar embarked on an ambitious program of reform. He introduced the Julian calendar, a standardized calendar we still use today. His accumulation of power fueled resentment among some senators. Caesar's personal life was as dramatic as his political career. He had numerous affairs, but his relationship with Cleopatra, the last active pharaoh of Egypt, was the most significant. They met in Egypt in 48 BC when Caesar intervened in a power struggle between Cleopatra and her brother Ptolemy XIII. Caesar was captivated by Cleopatra's intelligence, charm, and political acumen. They became lovers and allies. Cleopatra played a crucial role in Caesar's plans. She secured Egypt's vast resources for Rome and gave birth to their son, Caesarion. In 46 BC, Caesar brought Cleopatra and Caesarion to Rome, a move that shocked and scandalized Roman society. Cleopatra's presence in Rome, flaunting her wealth and influence, further fueled the resentment of Caesar's enemies. They saw it as a sign of his growing arrogance and his disregard for Roman traditions. The Roman people were accustomed to their leaders taking foreign wives and mistresses. However, Cleopatra was different. She was a powerful foreign queen who openly exerted her influence on Caesar. This did not sit well with the Roman elite, who viewed her as a threat to their power and a symbol of Caesar's overreaching ambition. The presence of Caesarion, a potential heir with no Roman blood, further inflamed these fears. Despite his accomplishments, Caesar's grip on power was precarious. His disregard for the Senate, his relationship with Cleopatra, and his accumulation of power created a growing number of enemies. These men saw themselves as defenders of the Republic, patriots willing to sacrifice everything to preserve the traditional Roman way of life. They believed that Caesar's ambition had crossed the line. He was no longer a champion of the people, but a tyrant who needed to be stopped. Among Caesar's most vocal opponents were Gaius Cassius Longinus and Marcus Junius Brutus. Cassius, a skilled general with a personal grudge against Caesar, was the mastermind behind the plot. Brutus, a distant relative of Caesar and a man known for his integrity, gave the conspiracy legitimacy. He believed that Caesar's ambition threatened the very existence of the Republic. He was torn between his personal loyalty to Caesar and his belief in the greater good of Rome. The conspirators, calling themselves the Liberatores, liberators, believed that by eliminating Caesar they could restore the Republic to its former glory. They underestimated the depth of the divisions within Roman society and the chaos that would follow Caesar's death. They failed to realize that the Republic, weakened by years of civil war and corruption, was already on the brink of collapse. Section 5, the Ides of March. The date was March 15th, 44 BC, the Ides of March. The Senate was scheduled to meet at the theatre of Pompey. Caesar, ignoring warnings from soothsayers and concerned friends, arrived at the theatre surrounded by his loyal supporters. He had no reason to suspect that this day would be any different from any other. As Caesar entered the Senate chamber, he was approached by a group of senators, including those who had been plotting against him. They presented him with a petition pretending to plead for clemency for a banished senator. As Caesar read the petition, one of the conspirators, Simba, grabbed his toga and pulled it down from his shoulder. This was the signal for the attack to begin. Startled, but not yet realizing the danger he was in, Caesar cried out, "Why, this is violence!" Casca, another conspirator, drew his dagger and struck Caesar in the neck. Wounded but still alive, Caesar fought back, trying to defend himself with his stylus, the writing tool he was carrying. However, he was outnumbered and outmatched. The other conspirators, emboldened by Casca's attack, joined in, stabbing Caesar repeatedly. The senators who were not part of the plot watched in horror and disbelief as the once mighty Caesar fell to the ground, his white toga stained crimson with blood. The assassination was brutal and swift. Caesar, stabbed 23 times, breathed his last breath at the foot of a statue of Pompey, his former rival in the civil war. The assassination of Caesar sent shockwaves through the Senate and the city of Rome. The conspirators, their daggers still dripping with blood, ran out of the theater shouting, "People of Rome, we are once again free." They had expected the people to rise up and join them in celebrating the death of the tyrant. However, they had misjudged the mood of the public. Instead of the cheers and celebrations they had anticipated, the conspirators were met with stunned silence, followed by fear and panic. The people of Rome, accustomed to Caesar's strong leadership, were uncertain about the future. The assassination had plunged the city into chaos, and the conspirators, far from being hailed as heroes, found themselves hunted by Caesar's loyal supporters. Caesar's assassination had the opposite effect of what the conspirators had hoped. Instead of restoring the Republic, it plunged Rome into a new period of civil war. Caesar's death created a power vacuum that his adopted son and heir, Octavian, along with Mark Antony and Marcus Lepidus, would soon fill. This second triumvirate would avenge Caesar's death and divide the Roman world amongst themselves. Despite his relatively short reign as dictator, Caesar's impact on Rome was profound and lasting. His reforms fundamentally changed the political and social landscape of Rome. His military conquests expanded the Roman Republic's territory and influence. His writings provided valuable insights into Roman history and culture. Caesar's legacy is complex and multifaceted. He was a brilliant military strategist, a shrewd politician, and a charismatic leader who inspired both admiration and hatred. He was a man of contradictions, a champion of the people who amassed unprecedented power, a reformer who undermined the very institutions he claimed to be saving. The assassination of Caesar marked the end of the Roman Republic in all but name. Although the conspirators had eliminated the dictator, they had failed to eliminate the forces that had led to his rise. The Roman Republic, weakened by corruption, social unrest, and ambitious individuals vying for power, was beyond saving. Octavian, a shrewd and ruthless politician, outmaneuvered his rivals and emerged as the sole ruler of Rome. He took the name Augustus and became the first Roman emperor, ushering in a new era of Roman history, the Roman Empire. The Republic was gone, replaced by a more centralized and authoritarian regime. Ironically, the very system that the conspirators had sought to preserve by assassinating Caesar was dismantled by the events they set in motion. Their actions had the unintended consequence of paving the way for the very thing they had sought to prevent: the end of the Republic and the rise of the Empire. Julius Caesar's life and death continue to fascinate and inspire us today. He remains one of the most recognizable figures from ancient history. His name has become synonymous with power, ambition, and leadership. His story is a cautionary tale about the allure and dangers of absolute power, the complexities of political ambition, and the enduring struggle between individual freedom and the needs of the state. Caesar's legacy is a testament to the enduring power of ideas. His reforms, his military strategies, and even his writings continue to influence us today. His story reminds us that the past is never truly past. It shapes our present and influences our future in ways we may not always realize. The fall of Julius Caesar was a pivotal moment in Roman history. It marked the end of an era and the beginning of a new one. It is a story that continues to resonate with us today, reminding us of the fragility of power, the unpredictability of human events, and the enduring legacy of one of history's most compelling figures.